So again, this will be my first NASCAR, so I'm looking forward to that. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So back at the bench here, got the instructions laid out, and as per usual went through, wrote down all the colors, and then cut everything out in the order of the instructions. And then I went ahead and de-chromed the wheels and have my references, so that's what I'm shooting for right there. So the knock on this kit is that they did not separate the tires and put them in the box hot, and you can see the little burn mark there on that tire. Well, it also burnt most of the parts. You can see here on the glass, there's some burns on the side glass there, and then as I was cleaning up the body, here and there all around the body. Okay, I've got everything laid out for primer. The two Mr. Surfacer primers, the black and the gray. This tester's, I believe this is Ford/GM engine blue, so I'll use that on the engine. And then I'll use these Tamiya paints. Now, I just learned I may not have to use the yellow because I bought these aftermarket decals, and that yellow there with the trapezoid in the middle is that yellow back there. So they actually give it to you in the form of a decal, so I don't think I'll need the yellow paint. And then these are the decals for the Darrell Waltrip car when he won the '89 Daytona 500, and sure enough, accurate, they have those Hoosier decals, because for that race, he did not run the Goodyears, he actually ran Hoosiers. So this set, they say in the advertisement that it now includes the proper ones for that race. So I'm going to go with those. All the sub-assemblies painted, and the only thing I have left to paint is the body there. And in order to do that, I made copies of those decals. And I want to determine where this demarcation line is or needs to be. So I made copies. I'm going to cut those out, lay them on there and kind of figure out where their line should be, and then have my white from there back. Pretty straightforward painting, but some stuff did require some masking. And for instance, the black on here, obviously the black on there. But for the most part, pretty straightforward, pretty easy. So now I'll do that assembly. Okay, as I'm going along here, I was like, oh, I haven't done an update in a while, so I thought I would. And again, my first NASCAR, so the only thing I have to compare it to is the other cars that I've built, which is not very many. And I thought, to be honest, that this would be more difficult. But in many ways, it's actually easier, except for one, and now I see this is a little crooked. It is a little complex getting this to go together, but I have a feeling once I understand it, going forward, it'll be like, an airplane guy doing a cockpit, right? But compared to like regular cars, street cars, the thing I have difficulty with on street cars is getting the tub on the side to fit to the sides of the outer shell. And here you don't have to do that because it's going to set separately. So that's kind of cool. And these interiors are simpler and easier. Up in here was kind of tricky, and my engine isn't fully in there. I left it a little loose so that I could line up the drive shaft. So I left that a little loose. But again, pretty simple down here. Yeah, I just thought I would comment on my first NASCAR interior build. I did have to do some filling in. A few of these broke and I had to bring them back together. So that's why you see all these different Mr. Surfacers, including the 500, which I actually kind of went around and filled gaps with. Here and there, and luckily it all matches. It's all the same gray. I had to clamp this and everything so it all held together, but it's much easier to clamp a right angle, so again, simpler than a regular street car. So yeah, I think that's about it. So these had the Eagle and the Goodyear on them, and as I mentioned, The actual car had Hoosiers. That gives you the Hoosiers, but only for, I think, for the fender there. So I also ordered these Hoosier tire decals. So I had to get the Goodyear and the Eagle off there. So I sanded those off and then sanded off the ridges and connection points. And then once I have it, kind of the way I wanted, went through and hit it with the Mr. Servicer 1500. So I think that should be, smooth enough and good enough now to try these decals. I've got the first couple of coats of the white down. Before I put the decals down, I decided to detail that, do the nuts and that centerpiece, and then clear coat that because it will get a decal, that yellow thing that goes on the rim there. And then soak that first one, and yeah, it went on nice. I have the salva set ready to go, but I don't think it's necessary. So I'll put the rest of these on and let those set up, and we'll see what happens. All right, it's the next day, and when it came down, these were shiny, but they're like fully adhered. So I shot them with some thinned flat clear, and this morning and this afternoon, that's how they turned out, and that is friggin' awesome. All right, I just sprayed what I hope will be the last coat of white on the back there. I've since masked the front grille and light openings there, so in the home stretch. Okay, here's the first coat of the orange. And on the hood there. All right, Saturday morning, and this should now all be dry, the Tamiya orange there. And that's looking pretty doggone good. That's 3 coats on there and 2 coats on there. So I'm going to take it over and start on the decals. All right, I'm ready to get started on the main decals here. So got my references up, got the instructions up there, and there's the hood up there. Now I did this yesterday, so this is like fully snuggled down, and that, came out great. So ready to start on the main ones here and cut the ones out that I'm going to get started with on the corners here. Okay, I just put the last decal on, and just want to note, the one mistake I made was not masking this all the way. So you can see the differentiation in colors under there, but thank goodness I masked it on a curve because it's not super noticeable or as noticeable as it would have been if it was like a straight line right there or something. Other than that, these power slide decals are really nice. They go down without any trouble, like no salva set or anything at all. I did, obviously touch it around the edges here to get those to conform around. Up in here, obviously left the windows out. And then probably what I'll do is go back once this all dries, and I'm going to let it dry 24 hours. But once all this dries, then I'll go touch the inside of that with some black, so that when that black frame goes over that, it'll look right. This is still masked. This is the gray underneath there. I'll wait until after the clear coat. But yeah, those decals are just really nice. And went down super easy without any, they're strong. You can slide them with your finger. You can move them around. And then I thought the body was a little too pristine, so took a little dark pigment and just dry brushed it to give it a little bit of depth. Then came back and did the body and the hood with the X22, and then final assembly.
He can coast him now, I think.
Yeah, he's about close enough now that he could coast across the start-finish line and still win.
Out of turn 4 after 17 years of effort. The Daytona 500 belongs to Franklin, Tennessee's Darrell Waltrip. He's done.
Here comes the Orange Tide Chevrolet toward victory lane.
Oh, I won the Daytona 500. I won the Daytona 500.
Darrell, how long?
Wait. This is the Daytona 500, isn't it? Don't tell me it isn't. Thank God.
How many years and how long and how hard have you tried to get right here?
17 years. 17 years this year. It just took a great, you saw what happened. Jeff and Stevie and Randy and Rick and everybody, they figured everything right for the fraction. I drafted, and it paid off.
So Darrell Waltrip won the 1989 Daytona 500, and you can see there he was riding on Hoosiers. And it's an interesting story back then about the tire war between Goodyear and Hoosier. Basically, in 1986, Goodyear faced a hostile takeover, and NASCAR had feared that the new management might threaten the manufacturer's racing program, so they invited Hoosier as a backup plan. And in 1988, Hoosier entered the Winston Cup Series and gained an early advantage in the season's second race at Richmond, where Morgan Shepherd took the pole and Neil Bonnet won the race on Hoosiers, and then 2 weeks later, Bonnet won again at Rockingham. So during that season, NASCAR allowed the teams to switch between Goodyear and Hoosier tires, and the teams pretty much learned that Hoosiers were softer and faster while Goodyears were more durable and safer. And all this experimentation and going back and forth caused a lot of injuries. Hoosier was doing well. By the end of the 88 season, they had won 9 of 29 races. And then in 1989, Goodyear planned to roll out its new radial tires at the Daytona 500, which would definitively prove radial tire superiority to Hoosier's bias plies. But Dale Earnhardt and Elliott experienced tire failures during practice, breaking Elliott's wrist. So Goodyear withdrew the radial tires from Daytona, and then Waltrip drove Hoosiers to claim his only Daytona 500 win. But that would prove to be the manufacturer's final win, as Goodyear's durability proved to be superior, and in the end, Hoosier ended up bowing out of race tire sales. All right, there it is on the shelf in the race car section, I guess I'm calling it. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. I want to thank Lucas C. for hosting the NASCAR group build. Again, this is my first NASCAR. I really enjoyed it. I really like those power slide decals. It was a fun build, an interesting build. I learned a lot. I think I know a little bit better what to do next time. And then speaking of next time, I enjoyed that so much. This one, I believe, fits the bill. And I like those power slide decals so much. These actually just arrived. And so this is the set for the Rusty Wallace Pontiac Grand Prix, and this is the livery from the 1990 Coca-Cola 400, I believe. So yeah, so that's going to be coming in the future sometime. And then I'm going to do another video right after this one on some upcoming group builds. So I'll tease that a little bit. So yeah, I think before the end of this NASCAR group build, I'm going to try to get that one in as well. But again, thank you, Lucas C., for hosting. That was a blast. Hope you all found that interesting. And as always, thanks for watching and happy modeling.